You know what's absolutely wild? We live in a world where you can call an Uber and a stranger shows up at your door in minutes. You can order groceries online and they appear on your doorstep like magic. You can text someone on the other side of the planet and get an instant response. But when it comes to calling money into your life, suddenly everyone acts like it's impossible, like abundance doesn't have a phone number, or like the universe doesn't take requests. Well, what if I told you that money does have a name, and when you call it by that name with the right energy, it actually responds faster than your pizza delivery guy on a Saturday night? I see you there, probably checking your bank balance for the third time today, hoping maybe the numbers changed while you weren't looking. You've been working hard, really hard, but somehow money still plays hide and seek with you. You get paid and boom, 2 days later you're wondering where it all went. It's like money has commitment issues and can't stick around long enough to get comfortable. Maybe you've tried affirmations before, standing in front of your mirror saying, "I am wealthy," while your wallet disagrees with every fiber of its being. Maybe you've written gratitude lists and vision boards, but your bank account still looks like it's on a permanent diet. Here's what nobody talks about in those shiny self-help circles. Money isn't just numbers on a screen or pieces of paper in your wallet. Money is energy, alive, responsive, and surprisingly emotional. It literally listens to how you talk about it, how you think about it, and how you treat it. Every time you sigh and say, "I'm so broke," or "money just disappears," you're actually giving money very specific instructions to stay away from you. You're like someone calling a restaurant and saying, "Don't bring me food, I don't deserve to eat," then wondering why you're still hungry. But here's where it gets interesting. What if you could change that entire dynamic by simply giving your money a name? Not just any name, but a name that makes you smile. A name that feels personal and loving. Because when you name something, you create a relationship with it. When you have a relationship with something, it responds to you differently. Think about how differently you treat your pet compared to a random animal on the street. That's the power of naming, of creating connection, of turning money from a stranger into a friend. Tonight, you're going to learn exactly how to do this. How to call your money by name so it actually comes when you call it. How to speak to abundance like it's been waiting for your invitation all along. Because truth is, it has been waiting. And once you understand this simple but powerful principle, your entire financial reality can shift faster than you ever thought possible. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "Great, another person telling me to talk to my money like it's my imaginary friend," stay with me because there's actual science behind this that'll blow your mind. Every word you speak creates vibrations, literal sound waves that ripple through the universe. Your thoughts generate electrical impulses that can be measured by machines. When you combine words with emotion and intention, you're essentially broadcasting a signal that the universe picks up like a cosmic radio station. And money, being energy just like everything else in existence, responds to the frequency you're transmitting. Here's what's really happening when you name your money. Your subconscious mind, that powerful computer running in the background of your life, starts treating money like something familiar instead of something foreign. Think about it. You have names for your car, maybe even your plants. You probably call your phone by its brand name with affection. But money? Most people refer to it with terms of scarcity, fear, or frustration. My last $20. This stupid bill. Money I can't afford to lose. Every single one of those phrases is programming your subconscious to see money as a problem, not a solution. But when you give money a loving, personal name, something magical shifts in your brain. Let's call your money Abundant Alice, for example. Suddenly, every time you think about money, you're not thinking about stress and limitation. You're thinking about Alice, your friend, who brings you good things. Your nervous system relaxes instead of going into fight or flight mode. Your creativity opens up instead of shutting down. Your awareness expands to notice opportunities instead of only seeing obstacles. I remember a woman who came to me absolutely frustrated with her finances. She said every time she got money, it seemed to run away from her faster than she could count it. I told her to stop calling it my money and start calling it Generous George. She laughed, but she tried it. Within 2 weeks, She found an old savings account she'd forgotten about, with over $800 in it. Then her boss offered her overtime hours she'd never been offered before. Then someone paid back a loan she'd written off years ago. Was it coincidence? Maybe. But I've seen this pattern repeat itself hundreds of times. When you name your money, you're doing something profound. You're shifting from a relationship of desperation to a relationship of appreciation. You're moving from chasing to attracting. You're transforming from someone who begs for scraps to someone who calls abundance home. And abundance, like any good friend, loves being welcomed with joy instead of desperation. It loves being invited in with confidence instead of fear. It loves being greeted with a smile instead of a sigh. So tonight, I want you to choose a name for your money. Make it something that makes you smile when you say it. Something that feels abundant, generous, and friendly. Because once you name it, everything changes. Once you create that personal connection, money stops being the enemy and becomes your ally. Let me tell you exactly how to choose the perfect name for your money, because this isn't just about picking any random name and hoping for the best. The name you choose needs to resonate with your energy, make you feel good when you say it, and carry the vibration of abundance rather than lack. Some people like to use names that sound wealthy and sophisticated, like Prosperous Patricia or Abundant Alexander. Others prefer playful names like Cash-tastic Carlos or Money Honey. The key is that when you say the name, you should feel a little spark of joy, maybe even a smile creeping across your face. Here's a simple exercise to find your money's name. Close your eyes and imagine money as a person walking into your life. What do they look like? Do they feel warm and friendly, sophisticated and elegant, playful and fun? Let that energy guide you to the perfect name. Maybe your money feels like a wise grandmother, so you call her Wisdom Wanda. Maybe it feels like a generous uncle, so you name him Giving Gary. Trust your intuition here, because your subconscious knows exactly what vibration will work best for you. Once you've chosen the name, now comes the fun part. You're going to start talking to your money every single day like it's a real person in your life. Every morning when you wake up, before you check your phone or dive into the chaos of your day, say good morning to your money. Good morning, Abundant Alice. I'm so grateful you're in my life. I'm excited to see how you're going to surprise me today. It might feel weird at first, and that's perfectly normal. You've been trained to think money is serious and stressful, but money actually loves lightness and joy. Throughout your day, acknowledge your money's presence. When you pay for something, don't groan about spending money. Instead, smile and say, "Thanks for flowing through me, Abundant Alice." Go do good things in the world and come back multiplied. When you receive money, whether it's your paycheck, a gift, or even finding a quarter on the street, celebrate it. Welcome home, Alice. I knew you'd find your way back to me. This isn't silly spiritual nonsense. This is reprogramming your subconscious mind to expect money instead of fearing its absence. And here's where most people mess this up completely. They'll name their money, talk to it sweetly for a day or two, then the first time a bill comes or something unexpected happens, they go right back to their old patterns. They start complaining about being broke or stressing about expenses. That's like calling your friend by a loving nickname one day and cursing them out the next. Mixed signals confuse the universe and block your flow. Consistency is everything. Your money's name becomes an anchor that keeps you aligned with abundance, even when external circumstances try to pull you into scarcity thinking. When doubt creeps in, when fear whispers in your ear, when old patterns try to resurface, you simply call your money by name and remember that you're in a relationship now, not a struggle. Now let's talk about what happens when you start calling your money by name consistently, because the shifts that occur are absolutely fascinating. Within the first few days, you'll notice something subtle but powerful. Your entire emotional state around money begins to soften. Those tight, anxious feelings in your chest when you think about finances start to dissolve. That knot in your stomach when bills arrive begins to untangle. You're literally rewiring your nervous system's response to money from stress to comfort, from fear to friendship. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your subconscious mind starts working differently. Instead of scanning your environment for problems and limitations, it begins noticing opportunities and possibilities. You might suddenly remember about a forgotten savings account, or notice a side hustle opportunity you'd overlooked before, or receive an unexpected check in the mail. These aren't coincidences. Your brain is now programmed to look for evidence that your named money is active in your life, so it finds that evidence everywhere. I want to share a story that perfectly illustrates this principle. A client of mine named her money Faithful Frank because she wanted to develop trust that money would always be there when she needed it. She'd been living paycheck to paycheck for years, constantly worried about making ends meet. After naming her money and talking to Frank daily for about 3 weeks, something amazing happened. She got a call from her old employer saying they'd made an error in her final paycheck calculations and owed her $1,200. That same week, her landlord offered to reduce her rent in exchange for her helping manage the property. Then, her car insurance company sent her a refund check because they'd overcharged her account. Now, you might say that's just luck or timing, but I've seen this pattern repeat itself over and over again. When you change your relationship with money from adversarial to collaborative, the universe starts collaborating with you. When you stop fighting with money and start dancing with it, it starts dancing with you. The practical explanation is that your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information, gets reprogrammed to notice opportunities instead of obstacles. But there's also something deeper happening here, something that science is just beginning to understand about consciousness and reality creation. When you name your money and speak to it with love and expectation, you're engaging with the quantum field of infinite possibility. You're sending out a clear signal about what you want to experience, and the universe, being the responsive system it is, begins rearranging circumstances to match your new vibration. The key is to stay consistent even when you don't see immediate results. Some people name their money and expect instant lottery winnings, but manifestation usually works more subtly and naturally. Your named money might show up as a new client, a brilliant business idea, an unexpected opportunity, or even someone paying back money they owed you. Stay open to all the ways abundance can flow to you, and keep calling your money by name with the same enthusiasm you'd call a beloved friend. Let's address the elephant in the room, because I know what some of you are thinking right now. This sounds nice and all, but I've got real bills to pay. I can't just name my money and expect my landlord to accept good vibes instead of rent. And you're absolutely right. Naming your money isn't about ignoring reality or pretending your problems don't exist. It's about changing your internal relationship with money so that your external reality can shift to match your new vibration. Here's what most people don't understand about how this actually works in the real world. When you name your money and start treating it like a friend instead of an enemy, you naturally begin making different decisions. Instead of panic spending when you're stressed, you pause and ask yourself, what would abundant Alice want me to do here? Instead of avoiding looking at your bank balance because it makes you anxious, you check in with excitement because you're curious about what your money friend is up to. This shift in perspective leads to practical changes that have real financial impact. You might find yourself negotiating better deals because you're coming from a place of confidence instead of desperation. You might notice opportunities to earn extra income because your mind is open to abundance instead of focused on scarcity. You might make wiser spending choices because you're thinking about what would make your money happy to be part of, rather than just reacting to impulses and emotions. I had a client who named his money Wise William because he wanted to develop better financial judgment. Before this practice, he was notorious for impulse purchases that he'd regret later. But once he started checking in with William before making purchases, asking, "Is this something William would be excited to be part of?" his spending habits completely transformed. He stopped buying things out of boredom or stress and started investing in experiences and items that actually added value to his life. Within 6 months, he'd saved more money than he had in the previous 3 years combined. But here's the really beautiful part about naming your money. It helps you develop what I call abundance amnesia. You start forgetting what it feels like to constantly worry about money. You begin to expect good things financially, instead of bracing for disaster. This isn't denial or toxic positivity. This is training your subconscious mind to operate from a foundation of trust instead of fear. When you trust that your named money is always working on your behalf, you make decisions from a completely different place. You say yes to opportunities that your fearful mind would have talked you out of. You invest in yourself and your dreams because you know more money is always coming. You give generously because you understand that money loves to flow, not stagnate. And here's something magical that happens when you really embrace this practice. Other people start responding to you differently. They sense your confidence and ease around money, and they want to do business with you. They offer you opportunities because you feel like someone who knows how to handle abundance. Your named money doesn't just change how you think about finances. It changes how the world thinks about your finances too. Now I want to teach you the advanced technique that will supercharge this entire process, because naming your money is just the beginning. Once you've established that personal relationship, you need to learn how to have actual conversations with your abundance. I'm talking about daily check-ins, where you speak to your money like you would speak to any important relationship in your life. Because that's exactly what this is. The most important financial relationship you'll ever have. Every morning, before you dive into the chaos of your day, take 2 minutes to have a conversation with your named money. Sit quietly, take a deep breath, and speak out loud if you can. Say something like, "Good morning, abundant Alice. I'm so grateful for everything you've brought into my life. I love how you always find creative ways to flow to me. Today I'm open to receiving you in expected and unexpected ways. Show me how I can be a better partner to you." Then listen, not with your ears, but with your intuition. Pay attention to the ideas that come, the feelings that arise, the sudden urges to take certain actions. Your money will start communicating with you through inspired thoughts, synchronicities, and opportunities. Maybe you'll get a sudden idea for a side business. Maybe you'll feel called to reach out to an old contact who ends up offering you work. Maybe you'll stumble across an investment opportunity that feels perfectly aligned. These aren't coincidences. This is your named money responding to your invitation for partnership. Throughout the day, keep the conversation going. When you spend money, don't just hand it over mindlessly. Say something like, "Go do good work, abundant Alice. Bless everyone you touch and come back multiplied." When you receive money, celebrate it like you're welcoming a friend home. "There you are. I was wondering when you'd show up today. Thank you for always finding your way back to me." And here's the part that most people skip, but it's absolutely crucial. You need to thank your money for the work it's already doing in your life, even if your bank account doesn't look the way you want it to yet. Thank it for the roof over your head, the food in your refrigerator, the clothes on your body. Thank it for every small blessing, every minor windfall, every unexpected saving. Gratitude is the language that money speaks fluently, and when you speak it consistently, money can't help but respond. But let me warn you about something that trips up almost everyone who tries this practice. Your old patterns are going to fight back hard. The moment you start developing a loving relationship with money, every fear-based belief you've ever had about finances is going to surface. You'll have days when you forget to talk to your money. You'll catch yourself complaining about bills or stressing about expenses. When this happens, don't beat yourself up. Just gently redirect. Say, "Sorry, abundant Alice. I slipped back into old patterns for a moment. Let me try that again." Remember, you're literally rewiring decades of programming about money. Be patient with yourself and stay consistent with the practice. The universe is listening to every word you speak to your money, and it's arranging circumstances to match the energy of your conversations. Let's talk about what happens when life gets messy and your faith in this process gets tested, because it absolutely will be tested. You're going to have moments when you've been calling your money by name for weeks, having lovely conversations with abundant Alice or generous George, and then suddenly a massive, unexpected expense hits. Your car breaks down, your roof starts leaking, or you get hit with a medical bill that makes your eyes water. In that moment, every old fear-based thought is going to come rushing back like an unwelcome family reunion. Your mind will start screaming, "See, this money stuff doesn't work. You've been talking to thin air while real life is happening. And right there, in that exact moment, is where most people abandon the practice and go back to their old patterns of financial panic and stress. But here's what I need you to understand. These tests aren't signs that the process isn't working. They're actually proof that it is working, because the universe is clearing out old energy to make room for new abundance. Think of it like renovating a house. Before you can install beautiful new floors, you have to rip up the old carpet that's been hiding problems underneath. It looks messy and chaotic while it's happening, but it's necessary for the transformation. When unexpected expenses show up right after you start naming your money, the universe isn't punishing you. It's often clearing out old financial karma, settling old debts, or removing obstacles that were blocking your flow. During these challenging moments, this is when your relationship with your named money becomes most important. Instead of panicking and reverting to scarcity thinking, take a deep breath and have an honest conversation with your money. Say something like, "Okay, abundant Alice, this looks scary right now, but I trust that you know what you're doing. Show me how this situation is actually working in my favor. Help me see the blessing in this challenge." I remember a client who named her money Faithful Frances because she wanted to develop unwavering trust in abundance. About a month into the practice, her washing machine died and needed to be replaced immediately. Her old self would have spiraled into panic about the unexpected expense, but instead, she took a deep breath and said, "All right, Frances, I don't understand this yet, but I trust you're setting something up." The very next day, her neighbor mentioned they were moving and needed to sell their nearly new washer and dryer set for a fraction of the retail price. Not only did she get better appliances for less money, but the delay also meant she was home when a delivery person came with a package containing a refund check she'd been waiting months for. These kinds of synchronicities start happening constantly when you maintain your faith during the storms. Your named money becomes like a skilled conductor orchestrating a symphony you can't hear yet. Every seeming setback is actually a setup for a comeback. Every unexpected expense is clearing the way for unexpected income. But you only see this pattern when you keep calling your money by name, even when logic tells you to give up. Now, I want to share something with you that's going to sound almost too good to be true, but I've witnessed it countless times. When you consistently name your money and treat it as a living, responsive partner in your life, it doesn't just change your financial circumstances, it changes your entire relationship with abundance in every area. Your health improves because you're no longer carrying the stress and anxiety that financial worry creates in your body. Your relationships get better because you're not projecting scarcity fears onto the people you love. Your creativity explodes because your mind is free to dream instead of constantly calculating and worrying. But here's the part that really amazes me. People around you start treating you differently when you embody this energy of financial partnership rather than financial struggle. They sense something different about you, something more confident and grounded. Business opportunities start flowing to you through people who are drawn to your new energy. Investment possibilities appear because you feel like someone who knows how to steward resources wisely. Even your family members and friends begin relating to you as someone who has their financial life together, which creates a positive feedback loop that reinforces your abundance. This happens because when you name your money and develop a loving relationship with it, you stop operating from desperation. Desperation repels opportunities because people can sense it, and it makes them uncomfortable. But when you operate from the energy of partnership with abundance, people want to participate in that energy. They offer you deals, connections, and opportunities because being around your energy feels good. Let me tell you about a woman who named her money Joyful Janet because she wanted to bring more lightness and fun into her financial life. Before this practice, she was notorious among her friends for always being stressed about money, always complaining about bills, always making everyone else feel heavy when financial topics came up. But after several months of daily conversations with Joyful Janet, her entire energy shifted. She started laughing about money instead of crying about it. She began seeing humor in financial situations instead of only seeing problems. The transformation was so dramatic that people started asking her for financial advice, even though her bank balance hadn't changed significantly yet. But something about her energy made people believe she had figured something out. Those conversations led to consulting opportunities, which led to speaking engagements, which eventually led to a full-scale business, helping others transform their relationship with money. Her named money didn't just change her finances. It revealed her calling and created a career she never could have imagined. This is the real magic of naming your money. It's not just about attracting more dollars, though that absolutely happens. It's about stepping into the version of yourself who naturally and effortlessly collaborates with abundance. It's about becoming someone who expects good things instead of bracing for disaster. It's about embodying the energy of prosperity so completely that the universe has no choice but to mirror that energy back to you in the form of opportunities, relationships, and experiences that match your new vibration. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, have one more conversation with your named money. Thank it for all the ways it's already working in your life, seen and unseen. Express gratitude for the abundance that's on its way to you right now. Here's something that's going to shift everything for you. And it's the piece most people never learn about calling money by name. Your money doesn't just want to be acknowledged and appreciated. It wants to be given assignments. It wants to know what its purpose is in your life beyond just paying bills and sitting in your bank account. When you start giving your named money specific jobs to do, that's when the real magic begins to unfold in ways that will absolutely astound you. Think about it this way. If you had a brilliant, capable friend who was eager to help you succeed, but you never told them what you needed help with, they'd just sit there waiting for direction. That's exactly what your money is doing right now. It's ready to work on your behalf, but it needs clear instructions about what you want it to accomplish. So instead of just saying, "Good morning, abundant Alice," start saying, "Good morning, abundant Alice. Today I need you to help me attract 3 new clients, find a great deal on that laptop I need, and create an opportunity for passive income." The specificity matters tremendously because the universe responds to clarity. When you're vague about what you want, you get vague results. But when you give your money precise assignments, it goes to work immediately arranging circumstances, people, and opportunities to fulfill those requests. I've seen people get exactly what they asked for within days of giving their money clear directives, and it happens so naturally that they almost miss the miracle. But here's where most people sabotage themselves completely. They give their money an assignment in the morning, then spend the rest of the day contradicting it with worry, doubt, and scarcity thinking. They say, "Abundant Alice, bring me new clients," and then spend the afternoon complaining about how slow business is. That's like asking someone to help you and then arguing with them about whether they can actually do it. Mixed signals create mixed results. Once you give your money an assignment, you need to act as if it's already handling it. Go about your day with quiet confidence that your money is working behind the scenes, making connections, opening doors, and arranging synchronicities. When you operate from this energy of expectation rather than desperation, opportunities start appearing everywhere because you're vibrationally aligned to notice and receive them. Let me share a story that perfectly illustrates this principle. A struggling artist named his money Creative Carlos and gave it a very specific assignment. He said, "Carlos, I need you to find me someone who will pay good money for my artwork within the next 2 weeks." Instead of frantically posting on social media or begging galleries to notice him, he simply went about his creative work with peaceful confidence that Carlos was handling the business side. A week later, he was at a coffee shop sketching when the woman at the next table struck up a conversation about his art. Turns out she was an interior designer looking for original pieces for a high-end client's home. She ended up commissioning 3 paintings for more money than he'd made from his art in the previous 6 months. That's not coincidence. That's what happens when you give your money clear assignments and then trust it to deliver. Now let's talk about the ultimate level of this practice, because once you've mastered naming your money and giving it assignments, there's one more layer that will completely revolutionize your financial reality. You need to start introducing your named money to other forms of abundance in your life. Money doesn't travel alone. It moves in networks, in communities, in partnerships with other energies like opportunity, creativity, health, and relationships. When you help your money make friends with these other forms of abundance, it multiplies exponentially. Here's how this works in practical terms. During your daily conversation with your money, start saying things like, "Abundant Alice, I want you to meet perfect health, amazing opportunities, and loving relationships. I want all of you to work together to create the most beautiful, abundant life possible for me." You're literally creating an abundance council, a team of energies working in harmony to elevate every area of your existence. This is when people start telling you that you seem different, that there's something glowing about you, that opportunities just seem to fall into your lap. It's because you're no longer operating as a single person hoping for financial improvement. You're operating as someone who's consciously partnering with multiple streams of abundance, and that energy is absolutely magnetic. I want you to understand something profound about what you're really doing when you call your money by name. You're not just trying to get more dollars in your bank account. You're reclaiming your role as a conscious creator of your reality. You're stepping out of victim consciousness and into creator consciousness. You're remembering that the universe isn't something that happens to you, but something that responds to you. Every single time you speak to your named money with love, gratitude, and clear intention, you're exercising your divine authority over the material world. You're proving to yourself and to the universe that you understand the spiritual laws that govern abundance. You're demonstrating that you're ready to receive and steward greater resources because you've learned to work with energy consciously rather than just reacting to circumstances unconsciously. The beautiful thing about this practice is that it works regardless of your current financial situation. Whether you have $10 or $10,000, your money responds to being named and loved and given purpose. The amount isn't what matters. The relationship is what matters. And once you've established that relationship, the amounts naturally begin to increase because you've aligned yourself with the flow of abundance rather than fighting against it. So tonight, I want you to have the most important conversation you've ever had with your money. Tell it your dreams, share your fears, express your gratitude, give it assignments, introduce it to other forms of abundance. Treat it like the powerful partner it's been waiting to be in your life. Because when you do, everything changes. Your money stops being something you chase and becomes something that dances with you. Your financial life stops being a struggle and becomes a celebration. Remember, the universe is always listening to how you speak about money, and it's arranging circumstances to match your words. So make sure your words are calling forth the abundance you truly desire, not the scarcity you've been accidentally commanding.